Was to assess having cognitive language and social emotional development. eventually can invite on a weekly individual. We have observations, we have very problem and analysis. Then we can quickly give knowledge in trouble of self-esteem and the physical, where the knowledge separate and key observations, we need development. Using short phrases instead of full sentences. Understand simple key what questions that doesn't with why and how questions. And better including words and meanings. For example, they tell me that how work happened with it. And he said, the boy and run. He said, yes, where is he going? Said, we are. The observation, cognitive assessment, and more problem solving, but self-investigated. Using trial and error, but life systems in the past example. These, but it doesn't fit. And not work. And that's like this. What we said. The observations, social emotional development, engages in parallel play, but living. Need guidance to express emotions appropriately, for example, when playing with the family. My turn, grab toy from sibling. The mom goes, I would say, can I have a turn? And he pauses and says, can I turn? She says, can I have a turn? And then he says again, data analysis and specification. Cognitive strength, strong curiosity, problem solving interest. Language needs struggles with both articulate complex instruction. Social emotional needs structure, support and turn taking, frustration management, and findings were validated by caregivers. Use of assessment data, shared findings with allies caregivers to support development. What was recommended was more interactive reading to expand vocabulary, play-based turn-taking activities for sharing, structured independent tasks to build the system, and data for personal support strategies, not medical language. Conclusion and question. Allie's strengths were problem solving, curiosity, engagement, areas for support, language development, turn taking, frustration tolerance, more recommendations, more structured storytelling, and guidance for the Tablet or
Right, yes.
what is tablet?
Did you use Padlet?
Yeah. I don't know if I did it.
Did you share with anybody?
Yeah.
Oh. So did you share with people?
Yeah, so for introduction, I wrote for this case study, I selected a preschool age child named Ali to observe her development. Ali is 4 years old and spent most of his time in a home setting. To ensure ethical research, I obtained signed informed consent from his caregiver, finding the right time for observation was a challenge, but I aim to capture natural behaviors without disruption. And observation plan and data collection, I observed Ali for 230-minute sessions focusing on cognitive, language, and social emotional development with three strategies. Further interview.
So it's somebody who was yesterday.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to see what you took from the people could be there, right?
Yeah. So for introduction,
contributions from other people. You should be careful.
Oh, like that we have a group that
Yeah, those are the qualities.
Oh, that's mine, but I couldn't change the name.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, like,
Is that?
I don't know how to change the name.
Yeah. Okay, this was supposed to be the sharing part, and actually this is the process, rather than your presentation itself. This is the process. Like today, I made the child was in cooperative at all, or the child wasn't there, or whatever. It was the process. But whatever is done at this point, I'll accept it, because probably the first time using such sharing. So if there's anything that highlights something other than what is in the presentation, that's what I want the people to chime in and think about. Yeah. Go ahead, Rachel. Not your presentation, about the experience, the process.
So basically, when I observed my child, I went once. It was kind of
What
similar
did you put in that
to
file?
that one. I can't,
Should I read it?
Yeah,
I can't
okay.
see it.
Yeah.
Okay, she said, I like how you observed him in his natural environment, being himself. I wonder what it was like to observe someone in their house. That must be a totally different experience.
Exactly, that's the kind of thing I want.
Yeah, if you're not babysitting, very interesting to watch someone's development.
Okay, anybody else?
I know, I commented on it, I said that I thought it was really, because she said he's maybe studying most of the time, that she suggested to arrange play dates.
Okay.
And, so I think that was important that she included because, he has to get outside interaction, not just.
Okay. Sounds good, yes, good process, it's the process I'm looking for. Anybody else can be?
I commented, but it's not on.
Yeah, I don't know why yours isn't showing.
Yeah.
Is that everything you have?
Maybe because I don't have internet.
But I just agree.
You remember what you wrote in the desktop?
But he was reading.
So I just agreed on her reflection. I feel like I had a similar reflection at the end of it. I wrote I agree after the case study, it helped me observe more milestones, which is crucial for understanding how the child progresses. I feel like sometimes we see them do something and then we just think oh, they're just talking with a friend. But when you actually think of milestones, you get to make that connection. So I felt like it was helpful.
It's that kind of learning, the foundational learning. Anybody else? Okay, questions for her? Questions? For her presentation? Hello, people.
More comfortable in the whole thing, or? No, they were fine. They were both down. So everything.
And did the child was the child also distracted?
Most of the occupations was that.
How old is he?
Four.
Anybody else? I guess so, yeah. Yes. Yeah, but
No, I'm 17.
I'm trusting you, this is way more. Right, it's not repeat the same thing.
So this is my case study. I think the picture that I took, I mean, it's correct now. She just turned 4 in November. So she wasn't allowed to begin the school year because we have to be for other things that I think for. But she had a referral from the doctor, so she entered preschool earlier than high school. But she started late in the school year, so she started a couple months before February. And my purpose of observation is to study this child because I wanted to observe her personality and milestones that she's able to. And my main focus was to assess her cognitive, language, and social development. I want to learn more about how she forms relationships and interact with the peers and teachers. particularly her because she was like new to the preschool setting and she was the younger one. But I wanted to see how that differed from the particular observation process. When data collection instruments, I use the three strategies: the interviewing, observation, and demonstration strategy. So for interviewing, I just use a series of questions, and had a discussion with the child's caregiver to learn more about their background knowledge. And also just to see the child's routine and behavior, if it's like normal things. And then for the observation strategy, it was a direct observation, actually engaged in activities with the teacher and other peers. And then I took notes on the side and then used the rating scale for the tool. And I was observed her twice for 30 minutes each. One was when she was doing a parent activity, a small group, and then also while she was playing with her peers in center time. And the other observation was during like a large group where the teacher had a read aloud and music and movement. The demonstration strategy, I'm gonna demonstrate certain cognitive and language skills as she finger painted the image with an activity where they just use their hand, fingers, and like paint. And then I took notes on the targeted behaviors she demonstrated. I also observed cognitive and social skills as she interacted with the teacher and played with her peers and completed them. For the data organization, I just use the Google Doc to sort everything because there's like a lot of notes and then I included the payments scale there too. Um, fill it open
Without the film.
after. So these are the notes. This is like the interview you read kind of. It's just like a set of basic questions, just follow the sheet, like she answered this fully and what you observe as I think her strength and weaknesses when she likes to do or not. And then these were the observations for the first one, where she was working on the art activity. And these were notes taken for the second observation. And this is the demonstration strategy, like navigation as she did that. And then this was the learning scale. This is the social learning. So yeah, I just kind of use that to triangulate the data. So key findings, for language, I noticed that she was unable to remain any letters. She, when asked to, she kind of just threw it as a giggle. Doesn't respond appropriately when asked questions to the teacher, like if you ask her a question, she kind of strays away from the topic or just does random things. Or she would repeat what you said in your sentence, like a word or two. Like if you ask her about like the activity, the art, she would just say art back, kind of repeating. And she uses one to two word most of the sentences. And then, the social, I noticed a lot of parallel playing, where she'll just be next to the peers with the toy, not really engaging with that person as much. And when she is playing with the person, she'll just grab the toy from them or doesn't really share, without asking. So, right. And then for cognition, she actually made a reference of like an activity they were doing in the class at the time of something at home. So I thought it was a good explanation. And then she's able to follow like one definition, like during the music and something different things to follow it. And then she does get easily distracted when working on activity. And then she just constantly needs that reminder. And then she's able to identify familiar objects with thinking activity. So when sharing the findings with caregivers, again, it's done Google document because I felt like I had everything kind of laid out, which made it easier to share and discuss the findings. Looking for the rating scale of the health, it's to show which areas exactly that she like excels at, and then where they agree or they want to focus more on. They do believe that she's still young and with more time in the classroom will also help her. Considering she just and then recommended six and living within social skills. So this could play encouraging vocabulary words, play encouraging different terms and sharing ideas with others, or expressing feelings with other people. And then, yeah, for using the data to support them, it allows us to highlight the strengths and weaknesses of the child. So for her strength, like I said, she engages well in play. And then we can extend that by encouraging the academic content through the play. For areas of need for language, I recommend we focus more on her letter recognition and vocabulary. So more interactive, read aloud and like open-ended questions. For social, I recommended to focus on identifying different types of emotion and social cues. So like take turns, person things, things like that, like sharing and asking others before things. For cognition, I wanted to work more on the persistent, complete a task. Like I said, she could be really distracted. Um,
Okay.
I shared with Olivia's letters and it's a very interesting thing about
I think I like commented on, that I thought it was like cool that she did, who had just entered preschool like halfway through the year. And then, like in her observations, like it shows that she was really paying attention to like the differences, like what she knows compared to the in the school since.
that. I set up a calendar that create that she made on its pattern and then I asked her or to try any strategy. So if they focus like if there's choice of activities, we will reminders. So,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I put the, it sounds like, she faced a challenging situation with Emma. Because of the short attention span and, observation provided in future framework behavior. And then it's important to continue documenting these moments, identifying patterns and triggers that might be customers. Okay. That's good. Question? Someone else? Question? What is the strategy to build the
so it looked like that's not the reminder, or I will acknowledge what she's looking at. Like, okay, you know, they're playing with the blocks right now. Let's continue with the other. So that following the reminder, and then we can work on that later. Letting her, she likes. So,
Yeah.
so very different. So, people like to identify that they're fine and it's not their routine. And she told us that, and we let
question? They're kind of play rather than interactive.
so it was like, it was kind of okay because she's like picking up. She's picking up on other things people do. So
Right.
sometimes they can do something.
New.
Yeah. So she sometimes just like looks at them what they're doing and she'll grab the same thing and do it. So I would say she is learning, but it's not so much of the social
Yeah.
because she doesn't talk with them, which is like would be better for her, you know, to expand on her vocabulary and
Yeah.
social skills too. But I think also like for that, the teacher could probably like assign Zeus play or something like, okay, 3 people on this table work on this puzzle together or something like that to keep her engaged.
She doesn't have a language barrier, that's
A lot.
language barrier.
No, I don't think she has speech, like they're evaluating her. So there's that, I guess.
Any other question? Thank you, Mara. Person. The families may not have worked perfectly the first time, but for those of you who will present later, if you have pictures, any visuals in the process of collecting the
Wait,
information.
which one is it? This one?
Well, it's a little bit groundwork rather than the product. So. Okay. But this is good because they're getting 6 bonus points anyway, so they'll be fine. Because of what you contribute, because of what you put in. What you put in is your experience. Oh, today it cancel my appointment again. I'm still just better. I'm gonna try that. It's a process. Yeah, it's not your presentation. It's the process, the frustration. Good luck, the challenges, the things like that. Okay, Olivia.
It's like weird on my.
Yeah, because my left side is smaller, I remember that day.
Oh my God, you're so mean.
No, it's about that letters.
I like so much, it's all weird.
They look bigger. Okay, use the, just do it again. I don't know, whatever you want to do, as long as we see what you're studying. Okay. You have to have something to look at, I don't want to look at your face. It's weird because the letters that I have are very old, so. Are you using the VGA, the small adapter? But I was gonna bring it.
Yeah, give them that one.
The VGA. Then it's plain one. How do you want it to look? What did it say? No, it's because the letters were smaller, like they're like this. And like when you open it, they're bigger. They're not the right size, so it's fine. Oh, see? No. It's okay. And think about now. Okay, let's see how much it was in five. Give me the sign. Turn it down. But you know what? If not, I'll just do the same thing that they did last time in the test. I'll just here with the computer. Fine. What they would read. She can just read off. Yeah. Try that. We're sending it to someone else, yeah. So I don't know, like, I did send it to her, but like, maybe,
Well, you can, you don't have to put it in the slide, so. Like. On the side.
We'll just like exit out.
Yeah.
you might not be a fee for that, for the, you don't want to be there. Well, that is not good, but you know.
Is it on that?
So. Okay, let someone else go first and then figure it out. Yeah. Is Olivia? Okay. Is there someone else after?
No. Make sure it's not. I want to make sure I can read everywhere.
What about that? Is broken.
So this is my case study presentation. So the girl I did it on, her name was Nora. She's 5, she's in preschool. She just turned 5 mid-February. She only speaks English and she's in a 2-parent household and she has an older sister who's in first grade. I chose Nora for this study because I'm pretty familiar with her. I was able to observe her at the job at the after school program. She's super sweet, friendly, and she's super fun to be around. And so I've known her since her first day of preschool started. So I wanted to see like how she's been progressing throughout the year because I don't get to see her in class. I don't get to see her outside of school or in the after school programs. So the purpose of studying Nora was to assess the domains of physical and language development. Since I've known Nora since the first day of preschool, she's always been super talkative. But her coordination is something that I've noticed that's developing at a slower rate. I really wanted to focus on observing her physical domain for this case study. But the language domain, again, she's very talkative and she always has been. But she loves telling stories, talking to friends, like has a pretty big vocabulary. Like the other day, she's only in preschool. She was talking to me about the election. She like brought something up and I was like, how do you know about that? But I mean, she was talking to her. So I have been always pretty amazed at how well her language is developing while I've been with her. So I was excited to kind of make a rating scale to see like the milestones that she was reaching or surpassing. So while I was observing Nora, I wanted to find activities to promote physical and language development. And I was able to observe her twice per hour at the after school program. I forget that I really focused observing her, but the other times I was working. So for this observation process, I used a rating scale, observational notes, and interview questions with the parents. The interview questions provided information and insight on Nora's development from her mother and father's perspective. By interviewing her parents, I was able to understand what Nora is like at home compared to how she is at the after-school programs. And Nora's parents know her best, so I was happy I was able to talk to them and kind of get new information on how she is at home compared to just with the kids in the program. And so for the rating scale, I created this to specifically assess Nora in the language and physical developmental areas. Using this rating scale was a more standardized and kind of professional way to see what milestones Nora was reaching. This is what I did by skills per domain. This is so for data organization, I broke down the information and data into the 2 developmental areas that I observed, which was physical and language. I arranged like the responses I got from the parent interview, and I grouped them according to Nora's communication skills and the physical milestones. And then I kind of analyzed the rating scale that I scored and then compared to how Nora's parents answered the questions I asked. I also took notes while observing Nora, so I compared those notes to both the answers the parents gave me from the interview and the rating scale results. Okay, I skipped over this. This is the notes that I took. I put up the observation. I found it helpful because I was able to write down like my thoughts and things Nora was doing without having to specifically like check something off. It was kind of what she was doing that I was noticing. By comparing the data, I was able to see similarities between the writing scale, the notes that I took, and what Nora's parents said. So what I found out from the language domain is Nora has always been talking in like 8+ word sentences since I've known her. Very, very talkative. She loves to tell stories. Like she's telling me about her trip to Florida the other day in pretty good detail. She can recall events that happen in the story or throughout the day, and she has she's 5 now. Started, she's still 4. She has an expanded vocabulary for a 5-year-old, and her language domain is developing very nicely and pretty fast for her age. For the physical domain, one of the things that me and the parents talked about, which I think I talk about later, she does not like to participate in sports at all. Like in the after school program, we do like kickball or like dodgeball or just some form of sport, and she does not like to participate. She cannot catch a thrown ball or a bounce ball most of the time.
She likes to run, but she does trip every so often over her feet. But she does love to play and run around with her friends, but again, just fall down most of the time. And then there's the playground at the school, and so when we go out there go outside, she does love to climb monkey bars or like the climbing wall. And so for the feedback, I've met her parents multiple times, like just like greeting them, saying hi at the door. So giving the feedback did feel pretty easy, but I had to do it in a professional way. So I talked about the rating scale and the notes that I took. It was mainly regarding her physical activity. We compared the rating scale and the notes, the interview questions that I asked, and the main concern from the parents' perspective was the lack of interest Nora has in physical activity. I explained, so I did hopscotch with Nora. I talked about that in the Padlet, and she loved it. So I told the parents, like, when it's warm outside, maybe you can have Nora try to make her own hopscotch like area, like the way she wants. They discussed again how Nora does not like to participate too much in sports, and I suggested that they slowly start trying to introduce more physical activity in her life, and maybe even sign her up for a sport with a friend. Soccer's starting up now. They told me that they were thinking about signing her up because her best friend is playing, and that I think they want to do before. And we did talk about her language development and how amazing it is, that how much she talks and how much she retains and knows. And I told them that, just to keep asking her questions about her day or just get her to tell stories, just to practicing her vocabulary usage. And I told them that it's really important to just read to Nora because she can read some, but not too much. Just keep reading to Nora so she's getting exposed to an even bigger vocabulary, like by using different book genres. This data can help, I said in the physical domain, the data can help the parents find new ways for Nora to be involved in physical activity and expose her to all types of physical opportunities such as dance, soccer, gymnastics, etc. For language use, I said Nora's parents may be able to create more learning opportunities at home. They can read more books with her, maybe that helps. Or expand vocabulary, just keep asking her questions and having conversations. And all these activities are language based, so again, and with the new information, I said by exposing Nora's parents to these types of assessments, like the rating scale, the notes, and we talked about like what the checklist was, they may be able to create their own kind of monitor Nora at home if they have any concerns about anything. Okay. Yeah, you will.
I commented on the and I basically she gave us a tip about how like we're observing it also useful to do it in like sections and also on one domain. And I told her that was a great thing to give it provide more focus on that. I mean the pilot.
So observing in one domain as opposed to several domains at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first observation I did, I focused on physical, and the second I focused on.
Anybody else?
I also comment on the social, well, the physical domain. It sounded like she had a fantastic job incorporating physical activity into the routine. And I like how she focused on making the activities affordable, and she included a range of activities targeted kind of motor skills such as walking, catching, and walking.
I see a lot of people.
I also commented she said
And about a lot. Alright, who's talking? Oh, okay.
but I also commented, I said that her choice in choosing Nora was a great choice because, like she said, she's a very outgoing child. So I felt like it gave her more opportunities and like more things to observe, and to see if the child was able to reach these milestones. And then also, I agree that the rating scale was a great choice because it told her exactly to what degree the child was able to do something, like she do it sometimes or with help or on her own. Something. And I thought
Anybody else? Okay. Question for me.
Do you think we're having a feeling to develop language?
I think so. I think like her having the older sibling and hearing the parents always kind of talk and seeing like their sisters like books and schoolwork and stuff like that helped, and just having the repetition of going talk learn with everyone.
The parents professional.
No, her mom is she works somewhere in the medical field, but she might be a physician. And then the dad is a detective.
How old is she?
She's fine. She when I was doing this, she was so bored, but she's.
Do you think her is pretty alive? She's not a lot.
I kind of like. I'm like because the more I notice it, like when she was like first starting preschool, I'm like, oh, she's 4, it's fine. But like it's pretty often. So like kind of the parents also did mention it, but she kind of falls a lot. So
I agree, that's the thing.
yeah, so like, I don't. I
agree that's like
maybe, and then when the parents were like talking about soccer, that's so at my job we play kickball, and so we try to get the younger kids to participate, just so they start to learn the rules of the game. And she went in the field with me, which is just like the gym, and she got cracked in the face with the ball really, really hard, and I felt so bad. But she wanted I don't know if she like is good with like pain tolerance, because she literally like again she got cracked. And she's like, no, I'm fine. And I was like, okay. It was all right.
Has your teacher ever brought up the idea of like occupational therapy?
Not to my knowledge. When I talked to the parents about it, they were just kind of concerned.
about the hearing.
No, her fault.
She's mentioning hearing because that is related to balance. Is the hearing okay?
Yeah, she's a good listener. Like, not that she's only ever been out with like stress.
I can't say that.
Yeah.
I have a connection. I actually have a 2-year-old Amanda. Same thing.
Like Charlotte?
Like, yeah. Like she comes to check out. I had to make an accident report because she comes to hug me and she's walking fast and she falls. And she hurts herself. But she gets up fine. She's like, yeah. I'm like, just pop up everything. Like she'll be walking and like just trip in the air. Walk and she's like falling, like her balance and yeah.
Well, that is walking too, because if the children are carrying the car all the time.
You know what she's No, I've never like whenever the parents pick her up, they walk her out. Like they never like pick her up.
The parents talked about like actually maybe because you know how there's like practices where like let's balance with me while like holding your hand and like giving it like slow time like them balance. Like are they very interactive in that part or
It's okay, you don't know.
At home, I'm not sure. I know during like school, she does like to like sit against the wall. Like if the kids are running around, she's always just sitting. But like whenever we'll actually like grab from my hand to like walk her. But she's not a fan of physical activity.
Okay, so thank you, Olivia. No, you cannot lead first. You have to be those who the teacher with that. That's a big deal about it. But if you don't know your group, you're going to waste a lot of time.
is it partner?
The teacher can test. You have to wait until you get the first part done. Immediately after lunch. Yeah.
We usually eat 5:30. 40 minutes.
Well, who are your group members? Are you filling in and be able to catch up?
Is it the same as the rating scale checklist?
No, this is a totally different thing. I'm going to start to do. I told you that we started this process and things like that. But if you belong to a group that can fill in, I have to object. So within your group. You forgot to sign in.
Did she say that we're not signed in?
No, I'm just
Oh,
working.
okay, because we asked you last class and you were okay with it.
Don't worry about it. Oh, you cannot do that. You cannot find something else. Did you finish it? Good working? Everybody's up to her. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we have to figure it out.
All right,
Okay.
so glad you next, let's pay attention.
So, yeah, that's not what the picture.
That's just show it on your computer.
Yeah. Okay, so. We were like, it's like another.
Let's show the picture like that.
My hotspot.
I just need to. I, this week, I literally haven't taken the whole 360. So, that's a crazy statement. The kid might even find it. I don't know. They're going to do it. What do you I don't have to do it. It is what download. But it's just a picture.
Yeah, but it's like one kind of information that was on the. It's so weird.
Okay, so this is Peter. He is. Oh my God, I don't know his computer. I know, it's such a lot. Okay, so this is Peter. He's American Hispanic. He's 3 years old and a half. He speaks more words in English and Spanish. I choose Peter because he got into my neighbor a year a year ago, and he's the same age as my dad's son, which is 2 years old. So I choose him because I saw a big opportunity to understand that development because he's bilingual to check his language development. And in addition, Peter has an older brother at home and attends to a daycare center with peers. And observing these interactions in both mixed age and same age at different settings can provide a deeper understanding of how different social dynamics impact the development. So the purpose. The purpose of the study Peter was to evaluate Peter's development history by reviewing his physical development, including motor skills and coordination, social emotional, including interaction with family members and peers, cognitive, including problem solving and learning habits, and language, especially his comprehension and expression ability in English and Spanish. Observing Peter's development helps to determine whether he's learning age appropriate develop milestones or requires assistance in any area. So the observation process, I interview questions to both parents. These questions were provided into Peter's development trajectory from his parents' perspective, helping me understand his progress and challenges at home. Then I did a checklist. This checklist allowed me to track Peter's progress across different domains, such as physical, social, emotional, cognitive, and language development. And the rating scale, this method allowed me to assign numerical values to different aspects of the development, making it easy to track changes over time. So the data organization. I started by triangulating the information into two main areas, physical development and language development. I collected responses from interview with Peter's parents and organized them according to insights related to Peter's physical milestones and communication skills. And I then analyzed the rating scale by scoring its development domain and comparing the scores with his parents' answers. I also took observational notes on Peter's ability to manipulate smaller objects and his improved hand-eye coordination. And the bilingual reading out loud activity focused on his language comprehension. By cross-referencing these different data sources, I could identify patterns and evaluate Peter's overall development. So the findings. Physical development, he is developing appropriately for his age, showing a strong gross motor skills like running, climbing, and pedaling a tricycle. His fine motor skills are also progressing well. He builds towers, blocks, and draws basic shapes. Social emotional, Peter exhibits a strong emotional skills, interacting well with peers at the daycare and his older brother. He shows empathy when sharing toys and expresses his feelings appropriately in both English and Spanish. Cognitive development, Peter's cognitive skills are on track. He problem solving play, balance instructions, and shows curiosity with questions. He can focus on tasks well for his state. Language development, Peter's bilingual environment enriches his language skills. His comprehension and instructions in both languages is strong. He has growing vocabulary and can form simple sentences. He uses language effectively to express his needs. Behavior and engagement. His behavior is generally positive and he adapts well to different social settings. These findings indicate that Peter is developing well across all observed domains. Sharing feedback, Peter's development seems promising and well-rounded, which is great news. Share the findings with Peter's parents in a supportive environment. Started with the positive first, emphasizing his physical strength and problem-solving capability. Offer easy activities to parents so they can play at home, such as reading bilingual books, singing, and taking conversations. General feedback, Peter is developing positively, continuous observation and support of his caregivers and educators will ensure he continues to thrive. Regular communication between his parents, daycare staff, and educators will help maintain and support the environment for his growth. And the reflection, observing Peters across these domains highlights how each aspect influences and supports the other. For instance, his physical activities and motor skills and cognitive challenges. Peter's bilingual environment offers a unique perspective on language development. Identifying the strengths and areas requiring support allows for customized interventions that better his individual needs. My assessments allow me to design activities and strategies and specific developmental goals that support the track. Lastly, engaging with parents and caregivers is essential for understanding the development. By experience in conducting parent interviews and sharing feedback, underscoring the importance of collaboration. Is that it? Olivia, she is a farmer and an okay, Caroline. Okay. I can't stand it.
Oh, I said that I like how she conducted the sort of set period of time. She got like throughout the month, so she got to see, like, in a month is a lot for things, but she got to see like slowly through it, you know. I said the same. That I like that there were a lot of job the kids from the child, because what if the child is not the best? Yeah, so, and then I also said that I like that she, did the big, the drafting, and it's a one-on-one. So, with my.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah.
Okay, first of all, right. How was his behavior there?
So he is 3 times a day, full day, and I noticed that because I went like 3 different times to the daycare. I also went after napping. Before napping, he lived like 4 houses away from my house. So that's the reason why, like, I picked this kid. So at daycare, I noticed that, like, so he shares, he interacts well with it, but sometimes he gets frustrated when, like, they talk just in English and they start phone switching to Spanish. So then, since they have a Spanish teacher, uh, he goes directly to her and then asks her in Spanish. So I was really surprised because he's just like 3.5, and like he knew kind of a lot of words, just like, to switch together.
You speak Spanish. What language?
When I was at the daycare, I was basically observing like through the back, but when we were interacting at the house, I talked to him more in Spanish than English. And he, like, I was surprised that, like, my son is almost the same age, but he can say like complete sentences in Spanish using a subject or a subject. So I was like, oh, wow. Yeah.
At the daycare.
Yes, English. Well, it's just English, but since they have a Spanish speaker, like teacher, she always kind of help when he gets frustrated. Because when he's trying to explain something and they don't understand in English, then he runs to her and talks to her in Spanish. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so over the distance, number today.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the most important thing, transfer your breath. Before we start excited. So, time will start looking like. Okay. The teachability test is the last of the fair assignment. But it's very comprehensive. You may think of, have you written it? I know you have taken tests written by teachers, some written by me. Have you given tests and children? We have children do tests. Do they do them? Yes, they do. Come on, home, they don't even have you. Right. Now, who develops those tests? Those common core tests are, exams are standardized, right? They're developed by people something more professional, things. But in this class, I realized that it would be unfair to my students to finish without learning something about developing text. Test development is an entire field of special education. But I just want to provide just a glimpse on how it works. That way you have the basics. When you develop a test for your classes, you know what you're doing. There's a lot of information in module 4, it's very straightforward, but I want to talk about the practical side of it, and then I'll come back to the theoretical part of it with the document. So what I want you to do right now is to pair up with the person you're going to do the tutoring. You ready? Are you already paired up? It has to be partner. Yes. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to make up your mind. You cannot do this yourself. You will work with a partner. No, it's 2 people. So check it out, select the brain you want to work with, move close to it, and start knocking on that brain until you get some common ground. Start knocking on that brain. Okay. I'm going to walk you really, really fast. Okay. Now, I want you and your partner to start talking about the test, given the information you have so far. Write down some notes, write down some questions. You can look at the information and read well. That way, I will be answering your questions rather than me giving you information. Are you a third person?
I think they're not.
Everybody is partner here now. But they're fair. Right, I know. If they're pairing with someone else, then 2 people would be partners now, but they're actual partners with them later.
They're usually part of it. You just like collaborate.
They're usually partners. That's gonna be a disadvantage of them, but I don't care. I don't care that people I learn the hard way master, but I require them to be fair. Okay, so look at as much information as possible. I'm gonna give you just 5 minutes. Look at all the information in module 4. Forget the standardized test part of it. Look at the teacher test part of it. Look through real quickly, and then talk about what you think would be that's important. After 5 minutes, we're going to stop and we're going to do something. Last, look at the scoring guide for the teacher test. There's a lot to look at. And 5 minutes is running up. Then I use it twice. Yes. Look at as much information as you can. I'm not asking you to read everything and understand right now. I just want to use that information to form a sense of what it is that you're doing and talk about it. That's the way I want to start. What are you doing, given that information? What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing, given that information? Talk between the 2 of you. You're definitely going to develop a test, but how are you going to get started? Are you going to write instruction objectives? Are you going to write listing objectives? How are they different? It could be part of the unit. It's kind of merged. They're very young children. So you have some questions like, what is the science? Maybe we would base it on some theme. But some of the items can point to science, some of them can point to, some of them can point to math skills. It's, right, but that is they're not separating math, science. So you're going to have one test which addresses language, math. Yeah, but you will learn that. You learn a holistic way. So, it's up to you. Those are the things I want you to talk about. Great. This is the first bit of your brain on that assignment, and I want to see what wisdom come out of you. Instead, you ask me questions, so you're wisdom. Yeah.
Our test together.
Exactly. That's why you're doing this, so you know the step by step. What have you looked at so far? Yeah. Yeah.
Items.
Okay, what else? Just talk about what you have talked about. Okay. 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 Keep talking. If you haven't looked at anything, you're at a loss. Okay. Okay, that's good. Now, you're going to have the basics for the test. You're going to have the basics for the test. The two of you think of a good book that can give you content that can point you to something. Think between the two of you and see if there's a book you know. What are you going to base your test on? The very hungry caterpillar? Cat in the hat? Okay. Think of a good book that you know. A children's book that you know. Talk to the two of you. Talk to the two of you. I'm gonna walk separately because I'm excited. Think of a good book that you might be aware of. Because there has to be a basis in the first young children start with stories, okay?
I'm not sure if that's the two or.
I like the way you started from that place. Now I'm like, oh, it's talking about that. Okay. When you're ready, I'm going to take you to the next step. Before you mind, you might hear it, but that's it. I like that you're talking. Talk with your partner. Talk with your partner. Why do you have to talk like this? Okay. You ready for the next step? Oh. Oh, first and second. Okay. Yeah, not because you already did checklist and whatever for the lower level. This is the grade. Like, these are the easy grades. Can we go to the next step? You're beginning to get a little bit of light. Yeah, I like the way you started in darkness. But it's getting a little easier, right? Oh, it should be. Now you know there has to be a book.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to give you, this is a copy of a simple, very, very simple book. We're going to read it together. So a few people will take the roles of the characters and we'll read it through, and then we'll see how that would be the basis of a text. But this is just an example. Okay? So as you get the hopefully think what part would you take? Hopefully, preferably not partners. Partners should not, let's get everybody, I mean, people from every pair, sharing the role. Yes, sir. All right, let's get started once you have that determined. Okay, let's make it make more sense. Who, wait a minute, we're going to do it together. Okay, who is who? Okay, Rachel, nice. Somebody, your son? Okay. Sorry, no? Okay. You're the teacher, sounds good.
I could be sick.
Sam, okay? The summer is Sam.
Summer?
Okay. Okay.
Oh, you're Summer? Oh, okay.
The Sam in summer.
I'm Sam.
Okay.
Summer. They're starting summer, but this is one.
But we want to have people from the pair, give up your role to someone. Oh, this one. Who are you?
Who are you?
Both of you are. Who are you?
He's not taking
Oh, we're starting.
Go ahead.
The children are sitting on the mat. Their teacher has spent a minute reading them a story. A bell rings. All right, children, playtime. Go and get your snack. Remember, sit down and don't play. Children go to their bag to find their snack.
Guess what? I got an orange for my snack.
Yum, I've got peanut butter sandwiches.
The summer.
Oh,
Okay, summer.
oh, I got.
I've got chocolate cake.
Fleur is still sitting in her bag, still looking in her bag, right?
What have you got, Fleur?
Can't find my snack. How you gotta look in your bag? I have, and I still can't find my snack. Here, that's one nice.
Give her one.
Thanks, Sam.
I got you. Sam about to play. Fleur eats the sandwich, but keeps on looking for her snack.
Come on, Fleur, come and play.
And I can't find my snack. I know it was yummy.
Here, have some of my chocolate cake.
She gives Fleur.
Thanks, Summer.
Eats the chocolate cake, but keeps on looking for her snack.
Come on, Fleur, come and play.
Yes, I want to find my snack.
You won't find it now. You must have dropped it.
I did it. I know it was so yummy. I put in so much steak.
Here, have some of my orange.
She gives Fleur a piece of orange curl. Thanks, Rachel. Rachel goes out to play. Fleur eats the orange and keeps on looking for her snack.
Suspicious as fuck.
Gets cross, getting cross and upset.
Yeah, I know, but I can't find my snack. I put it somewhere safe because it was so yummy. Yeah. Yeah. Have you looked on the floor? Yes, I've looked everywhere. I've looked in your pockets. Thanks. Oh, good. I forgot about that.
The pocket and pull things out of them. One by one.
Let me tell you. And some money. And a Bible. And a notice. Oops, that's in my mom. And a tissue. And some paper.
She starts to smile as she pulls out a large wrap of.
Oh, I know. This is my snack wrapper.
There you go. I just now unwrap it.
I remember now, I already. It was yummy, I couldn't wait till playtime.
So this is a play that will be animating to children in first grade, second grade, maybe even kindergarten, but the test is first and second grade. So let's talk as a whole group. Can you find from this story, after it is read maybe several times and played, dramatized in class, would you base a test on this? Yes. Could you have some questions that have to do with math skills? That is one. Okay. Could you have some items to do with language? Yes. Such as? What is There's lots of vocabulary. Yeah. Could you have some things to do with science? Okay. Would you have something to do with anything related to social studies? Such as sharing, you know how many snacks you're in? So think about those possibilities, and in your mind, you know there are five item formats. What are they? Alternate response, you call them true false. Okay. With matching, you call them matching. There's multiple choice, where there are several options. You have completion, you call them fill in the answer, and you have short essay. Now, a short essay for first grade could be anything from leaving out specific words that they fill in, like in a paragraph, a few sentences, and you can leave out words, maybe the noun, maybe the verbs, however you decide. So there are five formats. Okay. Now you have the five formats. They're always on my alternate response. There is alternate response is because they're binary, they're either or. Yes, no type of thing. There is one more. Okay. And then there is matching, there is multiple choice, there is completion, where they fill in the answer, and then short answer, controlled answer of some sort. Now I'm going to give you another 5 minutes, you and your partner, to think about the book. That might give you rich ground on which to develop the text. Keep talking. Can I have these back, please? Thank you for keeping them. Nice. How do you sell? That's so talk for another 5 minutes. Don't pick your partner.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's definitely to that. There's definitely a concept of taking care of the environment. There's definitely
Okay, whatever.
There's some vocabulary.
That's like science.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I guess deforestation could also fall into science.
Oh, yeah. I mean, oh my- Kind of like the surface, like the,
Yeah.
where he was a kid and then he grew old and then
Yeah,
he
yeah,
sat on
yeah,
the
that
tree.
too.
Yeah.
Ages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely could.
Yeah.
What else? Lots of this.
Is it getting closer to deciding on a book for the two of you? Okay, good. Now, let's pay attention and look at some preliminaries. Your question was really important, Cecily, because when you're testing as a teacher, when you're testing on a curriculum, on something that you have taught. Do not test on something you have not taught. You can write that 10 times. Do not test on anything you have not taught. And I'm not saying ask them exactly the same question, in class, but something similar, something related to that content. Give them a chance to show that they can apply what they learned. So you're talking curriculum, what you taught them, from the curriculum to testing. You're trying to see how much did they learn from the school. Maybe this was a bigger unit on sharing, or on collaboration, or on anything. But this is one of the books we read. Then you realize that the book had more content than any other thing that you did. So you're using the book as the basis for that purpose. So how do you move from curriculum goals to testing? Remember when you said goals and standards and benchmarks? Which ones are broader? The goal is the broad, standard is specific, benchmarks are more specific. Now, you, the teacher, are making the decisions because you taught it, then you know they understood to some extent, but you want to be sure. So you're developing a test, and you want to make it a high quality test. You can write a test, but it has to be high quality. Then you have to know how to do it. Yeah. Okay. It has to be high quality. What do you mean high quality, teacher makers? It is valid. Number one, it has to be valid. Okay. Number one, it has to be valid. Two, it has to be reliable, but because it's only your group, you can improve that reliability over time. But at this time, the first thing we're concerned about the test being valid. How do you make it valid? I'll tell you in a moment. So it has to be valid. For a test to be valid, it has to relate to what you taught. Now, how would you make sure your test relates to what you taught? What would you look at? What would you look at? If you want to make sure that the test you're going to write is based on what you taught, what would you look at to make sure you're not outside of that? Sorry. Objective. You look at your objective. Can you all read my own now? Absolutely. For the test to be valid, it means teaching relates to testing. And how can you tell objectives? Okay. The testing objectives are part of the teaching objectives. The testing objectives are part of the teaching objectives. You know why? Because you cannot test on everything that you taught. That test will be like a middle question. It's just a lot. but we're selecting only the current parts tested. So the testing objective will be part of the teaching objective. Testing objectives are subcomponent of the teaching objective, which means you're going to have, first of all, teaching objectives. Okay, let's say you have, how many objectives would you have in a whole unit for 3 weeks? 5 days a week. Let's say you have 2 objectives every day, or maybe just even 1 for 3 weeks. How many do you have? For 3 weeks, at short unit. How many do you have? Or 2 weeks for a very short unit. How many objectives do you have? If you have 1 objective every day, you have 5 days in a week, and you have 2 weeks. How many objectives would you have? Math. Let's say you have 10 teaching objectives. Okay, teaching objectives equal 10. Now, these are first grade or second grade. Are you going to test on all 10 objectives? No, that's too many. Okay, you're going to test on some of those. Some of those are objectives. So the testing objectives can be about, let's say, 6 or 8 or any number. The point is, this has to come out of that. This has to come out of that. If the testing objectives are not part of the teaching objectives, the test is not valid. Why? Because you're testing on something you do. Okay, so let me walk you through the case and then take a break. And we're not doing everything today. This is just an introduction because this assignment goes on for a while. I just wanted to the end of the course. Right, but you want to get the basics right now. So we have this I covered what is here. These are some of the things you have to think about. Okay, preparation for the test, what to expect, the key learning. That's how you decide which objectives. Of the 10 objectives, which ones are going to be for testing? Okay, and you have this on this one. You can always go back to it. And then it goes to taking the test, scoring the test, interpreting scores. We talked about interpreting scores plus class, but we'll get some details more, some more details about that when you are the teacher. Now, this is where I want to focus. Teaching objectives, testing objectives are necessarily part of teaching objectives. Otherwise, your test will not be valid. You will be testing outside of what you taught. Not all teaching objectives are testing objectives. Why? Because the test is only taking a few of those objectives. And the testing objectives are carefully selected. Why are they carefully selected? Because you only want to test on the important parts of the teaching. Not everything you taught is testable. You're focusing on the key concepts, and you may make some minor modifications on the testing objectives after you select them from the list of teaching objectives, but you cannot change those objectives drastically because otherwise you'll be running a chance of making a test invalid. Now, we go to the key. Here we are. This is what comes into play. This looks familiar, right? Objectives for both the original and the revised advanced taxonomy. It's really the same thing. So you're going to write objective, okay? You write objective and you make sure that you have them in ways, you have them organized according to what you thought, and you select only the key objectives that you got on. Those which you don't select will remain as teaching objectives. So right now, I've covered up to page 3 of your test. Page 1, title. Page 2, teaching objectives. Page 3, testing objectives. You see that? All right. So objectives, which you really, you're experts in writing objectives. Yes, you are. I don't know things that I can practice. Okay. Well, I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. It's only 12 too, but sometimes you do have some. But they can write a little. Look at this, look through this really quickly and tell me how you would write your objectives using what column? It's also on this one. I'm just giving you these good habits. I already figured them out. It's more than. Okay. Read from top to bottom. It shows you how to make objectives measurable. They have to be measurable, remember? You have to be able to tell if children learn this.
Doesn't have another side. There's only one side.
Here or here?
Is it double sided?
Yeah, it's supposed.
Yeah, most of them are double sided. If they're not, don't worry. I didn't prepare them for this class.
I don't have the other back.
Let me pull it out. So we're gonna get out of here. Come on. Right, it is the same ABC.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great.
What was it? Audience?
Yes. A is audience, B is behavior, C is conditions, and D is degree of accuracy. Same thing in a different language, but exactly the same. Now let's look at this. Looking at these three columns, where do you think you would get your phrases to put in the objective? Is it the column on the left, is it the column in the middle, or is it the column on the right? Read them in the middle. Okay, one in the middle. Why? Keep reading. Keep reading. So if your objective is the children will understand that. Can you measure understand? Can you measure it? What would you need the children to do in order for you to measure understanding? So which column would you use? The last one to the right. The last one to the right. Does that make sense now? Tangible behavior, action verbs, things you can tell when they happen. If you don't use the right verbs in your objectives, you're never going to be able to measure. You will return to guesswork. You need to write objectives in ways that you are sure you can tell when it happens. Remember the A, B, C, D, or remember the simple acronym from there. Now, read the examples of objectives A, B, A, B, C, and D breaks down the simple part. And at the bottom is a well-written instruction objective. Look at that. That shows you how to write measurable instructional objectives. Okay. We're gonna move from here, do one more thing, and then we'll take a break. This is also on, oh no, not now. I opened the wrong page, so sorry. I opened the wrong page, sorry. That's what I want. Okay. This is also on D12. You can read on the screen or read in D12, but let's get this done real quick. It's about measurable and not measurable verbs. So for 1 through, I think it is 12 or 14, read and just scribble somewhere whether it is observable or unobservable. You don't have to write the whole thing, it's only 12, so just write somewhere the answer. You can even write at the back of that sheet or something like that. Just write it somewhere. Or you can download it and write on it, I don't care. So the first one is recite a poem. Is that observable or unobservable? Explanation, you can do that later. The second one is understand the theme of the story. Is that observable? Is that unobservable? So just write O for observable and U for unobservable. If the behavior is observable or unobservable. Let's do this one. Is that up to 14? Yeah. Order three is writing O or U. O for observable, U for unobservable. Raise your hand if you're done. All right, let's get the answers. Number one. Oh. Yes, that is observable. Number two. Why? Plain. They will have to do something for you to know the meaning. They have to demonstrate. So, two is not observable. Do not use that verb in an objective, just don't. Three. Observable. Yes, you can see when they're drawing a picture, you can see the picture that they draw. Four. Observable, you can see them planting the seed. Five. Observable, yes. Six. Number six. Why? Right, so they will have to do something to show you the environment. They will have to make a choice between going to play and reading a book. Oh, now you know the difference. But other than that, you don't know. All right, number seven. Why? They'll have to do something else to show you that they're teaching. Number eight. Yes, you can see how they respond. They're ahead, that way, or give you something you ask, or verbally. Number nine. Did you see them synthesize information? Yeah. I like it. It makes you think. Can you or can you not? Yeah, sure. All right. So what's the answer? Depending on how, if they synthesize the information and give you an answer that reflects that, then yeah. Can you see the brains as they synthesize? No. 10. 11. 12. 13. Explain. they're writing or the developing a solution. How-
Yeah.
Oh. Can you see number 13? Can you observe, can you tell when it happens? Not job again, let's think that that's a good one. 14. Absolutely. So this gives you a sample of verbs you can use in your teaching objectives. Once you have your set of teaching objectives, 10, 12, or how many, you're done. The testing objective, you just pick one from there. What has happened in the past that students develop these 10 or 12 teaching objectives, and then they're cracking their heads to develop testing objectives. No, select some of those. Just take the best ones.
Okay.
Okay, is that understood? Take a break. 10 minutes.
My break is bird.
Do we have classes with you next semester? Because I'm planning to buy a computer next semester.
So glad you're going to look forward.
Yes. We're so glad. I am.
I don't teach in block 4 currently. No. But if not the graduate program, I'll teach out. You're the second.
Yes, I know.
This one's done right now.
We're starting a PhD program, by the way. We're starting a PhD program.
So thanks.
Okay.
Hopefully I can come back from my class. I need a break.
A break from right away. School is my best years of my life is graduate school. I love it.
Don't you have like 5 degrees?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a compliment.
Of course it is a compliment.
I could have sworn, I thought you told us like you're like after like you're done with this, you're
You
gonna
got
go
a
back. So I was listening to you.
Yes.
You have multiple, I know that.
Yes.
How many do you have? That's my question.
Yeah.
If it's
No,
5.
I have 3 degrees.
I was gonna say 5. I was
I have 3 degrees, not 5. I don't have honorary degrees. These are degrees that you go to school. You know how to get honorary degrees that you have to study for? Yeah, some people get politicians get honorary degrees.
Yeah. How do you know? How do we get that?
Oh, you are right.
Just for fun.
They like them. No, going to school is a lot of fun. Sitting down and learning. That is,
When I get the hang of it, I'm like, yeah, learning's great, but if I'm confused.
no, confusion is good. Confusion is a good trick that makes you think harder.
It makes me get gray hair at the
Yeah.
age of 23.
No, I don't think so.
You guys are taking a break? Oh, this is break.
Do you want me to show you? Let me show you. Let's see, like, two stuff over there.
Why?
And especially when I talk to you, especially my life, the thing, so almost like I was like, oh, I'm like, why? I definitely went when I saw the checklist because I wasn't here the first time. So I checked and then I always have because I'm always have like 90, 100. So this is the first time that when I think through like that, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I wasn't, it just with like, there's like, so you cannot miss one class, like, you cannot miss one class, if you do that, you're in school, like, you go back, it's like, oh my God. It's amazing. Oh, geez. I always feel so bad.
Yeah.
For the future.
Yeah, it's not you. Started to prepare for.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? License. Yeah, getting your license because the tax.
I don't think so, no.
We have Fairmont.
Yeah.
I thought she's already a license.
Yeah,
For 3.7 feet.
yeah.
And this is, the non don't have to pass the test.
I think it's key.
Yeah. Do you guys have to do the test before?
Yeah.
The child test?
Yeah, they just, we don't
They
have to,
changed again?
we don't have to pass it. They just want on record that we did, we went and took the test.
And if you didn't pass?
If we didn't pass, we could still teach.
Oh, if you don't pass, you still.
Yeah, we only have to try, yeah, we only have to pass the one.
Let's try.
And then they give you. A voucher. Yeah. So, I mean, if you get it, you know, one of your vouchers. The first time, no, they'll send us a voucher. To try, yeah. She said just do it.
I'm doing 2 tests this summer. I'm in 2 tests this fall. And then I'm in 1 test this summer. So.
Well, if I look at your website, I looked at it, there's like.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. All of you work on.
There's some special.
Special ed. I'm in special ed. We're on non-English.
Just for
Okay, yeah. I was still mad because I was supposed to graduate in 26, but. Yeah, so.
Right.
That's what I told.
Like.
Yeah, we're not-
Try to see, like, I know about her.
Yeah. And it's like situation, like, oh, if this. Like, it was a lot of sped questions.
I would even try it. Because it's confusing as hell. So I'm just like.
I was thinking.
You know, explain what for you, like, I don't know. So, but yeah, I'm going to next. Yeah, so you'll always see me in 2 or 3 4.
Yeah, they're like, what's this stuff? Yeah. I was thinking about it.
I wanted to. Yeah, but it's a great packet and it's like and it just gives you practice for it.
But it wasn't like.
And then, well, it's like a slide. So it gives you the question and you answer it and it's like in the back.
Picture.
Yeah, that's it.
Halfway down, oh my.
Yeah, it's another Thursday night.
One.
Manic group. Let's see, right. It's like it's like a just giant chip show. Yeah. What's your phone number? You guys. EINER.
So I want you and your partner to just read this list fast from beginning to end. It's only 12. If you don't read it now, you're not going to write this tonight. Read it so you register it, you know it is there, so you come back to it when you need it. I can tell. Read the list, you and your partner, from top to bottom. That way you register it, you going to read well, and you can come, coming back to it when you need it. Module 4. Make sure your partner is focusing on it. If they are not, get their head on it. They have to focus. You don't want them to drag you back. And if your partner drops you, please don't tell them. Yeah. Yeah, if you're not working hard enough, if they drop you, don't tell them. You never know, they could drop you and secretly get out with someone else. Huh? That's cheating in fact, if you understand what it's doing. So don't tell me about that. Okay, so I think partner to it, please from top to bottom. This is just for information. I'm going to show you something else. This is the last thing I'm showing you about the internet test for now. Right, because we come back. Everything. This is the table of specifications and what it does. I just want to give you the conceptual understanding of the table of specifications. What is it? So conceptually, the table of specification, which is also known as the test blueprint, same thing. Table of specification is the test blueprint. What does it do, essentially? It maps out two things. You know how you have testing objectives? Yes. You want to make sure your testing objectives are covered. They're on the table of specification. And right here, right. The little small thing. That's it. You see, based on the play that we read was my snap, objective number one, the teacher here decides to use objective number one for capitalization skills in the first grade or the second grade. So what does objective number one say? Without using the book, the child will write the names of the characters, getting at least 4 and 5 correct. That is one of the objectives the teacher decided to use it for testing. So how does that feature in the testing? The teacher decided to put objective one here. So this column here is one thing that you see my cursor? This column here is the one thing that is done in the table specification. The other thing done in the table specification is mapping out of the cognitive domain according to pattern theory. So we're mapping out two things. The objectives for testing, which is selected from the objectives for teaching. You put them in this column, and then across this row, you put the different levels of the cognitive domain. Why is this important? Because you don't want all the items to be knowledge. That would be too easy. You don't want all of them to be comprehension. You want some of them to be application, you want some of them to be analysis, you want some synthesis items, and if possible, evaluation. And then you write your totals that way. Okay, 5 is 5. Okay, this row has 1, that row has 3, that row has 5, 3 and 1, that is 4. Objective 5, which is vocabulary, has only 1. let's see what's at the bottom. Okay, objective 6, which is math skills, has 2 items under application, is that right? Yes. 2 items under application. Objective 7 has 2 items under analysis. Objective 8 has 1 item under synthesis and 1 under evaluation. So the items are totaled that way. You total the numbers that way. And you also total the numbers that way from top to bottom. Why? Because you want to know at each level of the Bloom taxonomy, how many items are there, how many are knowledge, total all of them, how many are comprehension, how many are application, how many are analysis, how many are synthesis, how many are evaluation. You total them that way, and your totals go at the bottom row. These are the total items. Now, the test has 20 items. You can have up to 25 if you want, but please don't have less than 18. So this teacher has 20 items. 20 items, pay attention now. 20 items are the whole test. So they are 100%. 20 items are the whole test. I'm repeating so you can tell. 20 items is the whole test, so that is 100%. Now, how do we figure out what percent is the total? For example, 7 out of 20 is 35%. How do you know that? Because you change the fraction into percent, you multiply it by 100. Okay. 7 of the 35. Sorry, 7 of 20. 7 out of the 20 items times 100, that gives you 1, that gives you 5. 7 times 5 is 35, so that is 35%. Let us look at another one. Let's say 2 out of 20. How many is that? 2 out of 20, I mean, yeah, 2. But 20. I know, 2 out of 20 items, in terms of percent, you multiply times 100, that is 1, that gives you 5, 2 times 5 equals 20. This is how you get the percent. Very easy. So that is how you develop the table specifications.
2 times 5, 20.
Sorry?
2 times 5, 20.
I'm saying, hold on, I have to go eat. Okay. It's time for us to go.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I can wait for this question.
Don't use the eraser. Right.
Yeah, there's a tissue. So put it one. Oh, there's one more there. There's two. Martha? At least now you know. Makes sense now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
All right.
So you can
You have to
change,
give us some points now.
so you can change any fraction to percent. You multiply by. Oh, that can change fraction to percent. Don't forget that. So this is the last thing I'll talk about, and you will keep brainstorming ideas, getting the book, thinking about objectives, thinking about mapping out the objectives using the table specifications. And as we move on, you'll get easier and easier for you. Do as much as you can, really. This is a on speed now. That's why I wanted to give everybody the startup. And one, according to your speed, you can do as much as you have everything. You have the schooling there, you have all the documents you have here. Any question about the teacher made test at this point? Knowing that we still talk about it and there's still time to work on it. Questions to help you get started.
So we're gonna have a draw, like around April 15 or 17.
There's a date for having the draft.
Okay, so
And
then,
the draft has to be complete though. If it is not complete, don't even bother submitting.
no, but if we completed it, then we send it, then you will give
I
us
give you
feedback.
feedback and
Yeah,
then
we'll say, okay,
and let me be clear that I do not grade twice. Whenever I give you feedback, I'm just looking overall. When you submit, I grade it only once to see that you use the feedback to put in place the document according to the scoring guide. Any question about the teacher methods, how to proceed? There's quite a few things you need to do between now and the next time we meet in class. I just want you to be able to do that on your own because you're going to have help. Can you get started? Can you feel that you can get started and move as far as you possibly can with the understanding that you have? If not, what do you want me to do?
Like the teaching and the test objectives. The teaching objectives, we're gonna have at least like 6 to 8 of the same test objective where we don't have to come up with new ones for teaching and test. Just take ones from
The teaching.
teaching that.
You're starting from teaching. If you start from start from teaching, have your 12, 10, 16, whatever.
But so we're gonna have.
based on the book.
We're gonna have to put in objectives.
Oh, yes, you're going to have a subset. A subset of the teaching objectives and the testing objectives.
Yeah, right, so we can pick from teaching objective, which.
Yes.
What we're gonna.
Do you have enough to do between now and when we meet again? Ask questions.
So let's say, so she writes, let's pick up some objectives, so the teaching objectives, you take a couple of them and one. So, you're gonna have, so they're gonna have the same ones.
They're exactly the same ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I read everything, so I may read 12 teaching objectives, they sound great. And then going to the third page, the testing objectives, they're totally different. And this person could have gotten their points by just copying objectives from teaching and put them down with the testing. I don't know if they do that. Because they think it's harder than it's supposed to be. Yeah, they make it harder than it's supposed to be. 20 questions. Yeah, 20, 25. Not less than 18, but 18 is good. Questions about the teacher made test, just to help you get started. Those of you who are pairing up with Malak and Fatma, God bless you. Can you fill them in? Anybody?
Yeah.
They probably might be partners together.
Yeah.
So
And you said that.
So they'll start over, they missed already.
So can you say that when you.
Inform them.
That'll be nice of you. If you don't have any questions of the teacher made test, I'm going to switch gears. Is that okay? Can we switch gears now? Yeah, well, oh, well, it's a little jumpy. You know what? Write down your questions and when we meet, just bombard you. Fine, but when you get like 10. Wow, okay. Okay, I also wanted to, but we did look at this. We got up to here, and you know what that is. Now you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
I like smart people. So if you know what that is, you'll learn. The rest of them is really just information. You read, they make sense. If they don't, oh yeah, they find an informant and no, I didn't think that. This is what you asked me.
Okay. All right.
Everything is there. Oh, this is a good one. We're going to be talking about this later. You're not ready for that. So we're going to yeah. Later. No, don't worry, you're not there yet. So let's go back. I want to finish up something that we started last week. So the teacher made test is a test that you develop, but you will be required to administer tests that you don't develop. And you know what? That is not fun, but you have no choice, really. You have no choice. I just want to give you a few concepts. Testing in general, whether it is standardized or teacher-made, it's part of assessment. Because you have the test, you also have observations, maybe you have field trip, you have projects, you have so many different things you're using to assess the children. Never rely on testing alone. Never rely on testing alone. You cannot get much from that. You want to get informative feedback from every child's learning. And testing alone will never do it. So testing combined with other ways of getting feedback from the children. Now, these are terminologies that I want you to be aware of. Testing and measurement and assessment and evaluation. They are related, but they are not the same. In the school system, in everyday life, you see people talking about this interchangeably, but they are not the same. They are not the same. Test is actually traditionally the paper and pencil, especially for the higher grade. For the other grades, it's also manipulative. Sometimes you tell them to do something or do a little count. You are right there. You are observing what they are doing right there and taking note of whether they did it or they did not. So that is testing. Measurement has to do with numbers. When you measure something, you necessarily put a number to it. You are assigning a numerical value. This child completed the project. Now, out of 5, if it's a 3, if it is a 3, maybe it has 3 things. If it is a 4, maybe it has 4 things in it. If it is a 5, it has everything I require in it. So you are assigning a numerical value. Rather than saying, oh, the project was really good, the project was really good. That's fine for the parent, but what does really good mean? That's a rocket science. That's where rating skills. Okay. So you assign a numerical value to the trait or that skill or project. And then assessment is the robust thing of it. Assessment includes testing, includes measurement. By the time you evaluate, you have tested, okay? You have observed, you have maybe talked to parents, you have done all kinds of things, and now you're making a value judgment. To evaluate, you're making a value judgment. You're using all different kinds of data and you're saying, the value judgment I'm making about this child that she should be held back in kindergarten. Why? Because you have the testing results, you have discussion with the previous teacher, you have talked to the parents, you have seen their projects, you have seen everything, and you're making a value judgment. That is the value. Now you see they're really not the same. Another set of vocabulary is reliability, which means consistency. I think I talked about that before. Validity, measuring the right trait, the right thing that you're trying to measure. Don't end up measuring something else because you didn't pay attention. The simplest and most straightforward example is measuring math using a language the child doesn't understand. Good luck. You end up measuring language and not math because that is the barrier. So are you sure you're measuring exactly what it is that you want to measure? Talking about validity. Same thing for the teacher test. Are you really measuring what you want to measure? And that type of validity is called content validity, meaning is the test related to what you test. So validity is about measuring the correct trait. Then you have to, different tests will have different purposes. It could be aptitude, it could be screening, it could be any type of developmental test, and you have to that as a test score. So we highlighted those that easy to follow. I want to see. These are limitations of standardized tests. Then you'll hear a lot more. People don't like them, but they're program or standardized test. They can give you some sort of basic information about what has been. Norming group. The norming group is the large group which was tested in order to come up with the average, the range, the mean, the median, how to describe the statistics of that test. So the norming group is like 10,000 students across the state. Now, the norming group has to have the same mix of students as the students who are doing that standardized. If they're allowing minorities, they have to be there. It's little boys, so they have to be there. You cannot have a norming group of 10,000 boys and now you're giving the test to boys and girls. Every subcategory has to be represented. That's why this norming group. So that the students who will do the test can relate to the characteristics of the population. There are a lot of factors. Okay, this is gonna focus on. We'll talk about screening tests, and if you didn't get this book, get it because you don't lose much by getting that $1 book. Screening instruments are standardized for development in diagnostic tests too. Talk about this later. This is your family. We talked about error. What do you remember about error that we said? There's something. Yeah.
I forgot how to say it. There's like test error and then there's like personal error.
Yeah.
So you mentioned how the testing has error inside it.
Right.
Such as like if the text wasn't like readable with the font.
Okay.
And then personal is like the light.
Okay. Good idea. Now, because that's a good you got the whole concept. Now, in the testing process, there are many steps. There is this step where you're thinking, what should I test? Okay. Are you 100% correct? Sometimes you may think, oh, they were really thinking about this, but they like that, I'm gonna put them on the list. Maybe they were not. So there's error in there. There's another step when you're writing the item. You think this is straightforward, they'll understand this is language I've used before, maybe not. Okay? That is compiling the item. You're supposed to start with the easy one and end up with the harder one. Maybe you make mistakes there too. So at every step of the way, maybe the general specifications, there are some errors there too. You thought that item was analysis, it was actually application. And the students read it, they didn't figure out what you were asking, they got it wrong. What does that mean? If all these steps may contain errors, it means that when finally you have a score, like I said last week, when finally you have a score of, let's say, 80 out of 100, this is a raw score, by the way, raw score of any score. That means it has two things in it. It has the true score you've never known, and you have error. So your challenge is to sort out the error so that it can be made the true score. How do you do it? It's really hard, but some people develop the standard error of measurement. And once they give a value like 4, if they calculate it and the value is 4, what do you do with that 4? Remember we did it there. What do you do with it? Plus and minus. And that gives you a range. So the 80 out of 100 does not mean anything. It could be, if you subtract 4, what do you remain? What do you come to? Only for anything? No, sure. Okay. Let's say you have 80 out of 100, and somebody has done the calculation work and standard error rate and is 4. So the true score lies somewhere. So if you subtract 4, you get 76. Okay. Right. Right. So that's what 80 would be 76. Would be 77. Would be 78. Would be 79. Would be 80. Would be 81. Would be 82. Would be 83. Would be 89. So you cannot look at that 80 as a magic number. No. There's error.
Wait, so you give us, where's the four?
Sorry.
The four, like, the,
Well, that is humongous calculation. But no, I think.
know, it's,
Okay. But
give it to us.
on standardized tests, actually that is provided along with the test. My point is 80 out of 100, that 80, don't look at it as a magic number. It has error in it. Why? Well, where does the error come from? From all those places. Now you have to sort out the error. You can. So instead, you have to provide a score bank. The score of 80 is between 76 and 80. So the score would have been 80. 76 would have been 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 84. So that student is not different from someone who scored 76. Not different from someone who scored 84. Especially in making things. You want to ask me, how come the current score for passing is 140 and you have 339? You don't pass. Don't ask me. That's a criterion reference test. I know you have at some point you have to see. But as an assessment professional, you have to know that numbers only reflect what was put in those numbers. Don't buy the thinking that numbers speak for themselves. They do not. And many people don't want to hear that. Numbers do not speak for themselves. Numbers will give you exactly what was encoded in those numbers. If you have 1 equal male, 2 equal female, the 1 and 2 is meaningless. That's nominal. No, that's something else. I want to skip that, skip that, skip that. If coding, we're coding data, because the computer only makes numbers. Well, yeah, it's favorably makes numbers. 1 equals male, 2 equals female. Does it mean that female is twice male? No, it's just a code. So that is just a name. But let's say religious affiliation. 1 equals Muslim, 2 equals Christian. Does it mean Christian is twice Muslim? No, it's just a concept. What about ordinal? Well, now you're ordering first, second, third. So the place now is important. It's ordinal. That's more informative than the nominal. Right? What if it is interval? Now you're coming to scores. Scores are interval, temperature is interval. But the zero does not have absolute value. If you score 0 on a test, does it mean you have 0 knowledge of that content? Yes or no? You do a test and you get a 0 out of whatever. Does it mean you have 0 knowledge of that content? No. You just did not start moving up on that ladder of score. If you read the temperature and it says 0, does that mean absence of temperature? So it is interval. It is the intervals that matter. So scores and temperature are good examples of interval level of numerical interpretation. What about ratio? This is now the highest level of measurement. And it means 0 now has absolute value. What does that mean? If I say I have 0 money, I don't have a penny, right? 0 means absence of money, is that correct? So that is ratio. If I say distance, I moved 0 distance, it means I didn't move an inch. So that is absolute value. 0 has absolute value. So the ratio level is the highest level of measurement. And I'll tell at this point, because some my students make me laugh so much. In an exam one time, that highest level, the ratio level, the students say it was ratio. And I didn't know. And I didn't know. That's the highest level of measurement. That's crazy. Well, it means that the 0 has meaning. 0 means absence of something. If there's a weighing scale, think of a weighing scale. I have a weighing scale. You put nothing on it, it reads 0. Is that ratio? Is that interval? Is that ordinal? Is that nominal? What is it? Ratio. Why? The zero mean. Okay. So the things that zero means absence of that attribute, what I think, that's the highest level. But the scores are not. So this was score zero. Zero means they have zero. I just wanted to make that. We have 5 minutes. I want you to look at the study guide and tell me if you have any questions about the midterm exam next week. I'll answer them as fast as I can. But the good thing is that you have 2 weeks. After the exam, you're going to have one. Right? So when you come back, you're fresh. And you have really good ideas for teaching. Ask me anything on that list that you think I have not taught, because I want my test to be valid. I don't test on anything I don't teach. If I didn't teach it, I won't test on it. The study guide?
No, I see the study guide.
Oh, it's 24 hours, is it? Yeah. Instead of 1 hour or 2 hours, I don't have to tell you.
That's it.
Oh, you'd rather have it in an hour?
I know.
No. I give you 24 hours to think about it. Because it also gives me feedback on your learning. So what is on the study guide that you have no idea?
Are there gonna be like those kinds of questions that like that? I'm just asking.
It's not on the study guide.
It's not on the study guide.
No?
Are you sure? Anything you have questions about it? Okay, so scores. Oh, we also did the normal curve. Did anybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know standard deviation and stuff. Yes, there will be questions about standard deviation. So this is what I planned for today. I'm waiting for your questions to answer them.
Yeah, okay, we have to.
Yes, please.
So the study guide is 6, like, letters under them, and the things that
Are we gonna follow that same format as like quiz?
Yes, same format.
Perfect.
You like it?
Nice variety.
So we submit the PowerPoint or whatever. And,
Say that again.
we submit the homework and, yeah, the.
You submit what?
Do we submit the PowerPoint to our presentation?
No. We listen to you and that's it.
Here, it said, can you start your presentation and start it? And part and sharing voice. So you did.
Yeah, you just shared in class.
Okay.
Those of you who haven't shared your Padlet because you haven't presented, because you will not have 6 points, you better have good Padlet and not part of your presentation.
The panels are not about.
Your report. No.
Yeah, so it's about like just.
Have a picture there. This is you observing the child. This face is not working.
Oh. So you want like just the process.
The process, yeah. Excellent. How do you feel? Happy? Happy? Tired?
I'm stressed.
Hungry? Why stressed?
No, I'm gonna apply.
Hungry is easy. You can eat. When you eat, the hunger is gone. Can you pass the scoring sheet out to make sure? I mean, the signing scoring. So I suggest that you keep in touch with your partner during these 2 weeks, because after you do the exam, you're going to, for your spring break, you're not coming back until what date?
March 27th.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of days. 13 days from today. When I see you'll be all grown up. So don't hesitate to email me if you have a question that is specific about the teacher test. I really cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you and your partner to get started on that. You don't want to rush. We don't have time in class to do that. We're going to be having presentations. So you and your partner, make sure you work on the test as fast as you can. This is, your speed is what gets you through it faster or can delay yourself. Don't work on it right away. Get a book, write objectives, look at the scoring guide, look at the steps, and get moving.
We should probably settle on the objectives over the break.
And if you didn't do well on the checklist, I suppose you probably didn't do well on the rating scale. That's why I didn't grade it until I see the checklist that you submitted. Question about the
rating scale,
because the rating scale is like the checklist only with more columns.
yeah, so,
Yeah,
I've been seeing like how you graded the checklist,
yeah, you guys did boring on that one. I felt bad. I feel like I didn't say enough in classes.
and then
I showed the sample. All right, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Please do the work, submit everything that is due by the due date, so you're not delayed in any way.
We're just so happy.
There's not, yeah,
Bye. Thank you.
I'll bring the link.
Bye, have a nice weekend. Bye.
The math, the math one, the math science, yeah. And then the clinical. What are you taking this semester? Mm-hmm. Oh, oh, how was it? The clinical. Mm. The one this for the Monday, a bunch, like two of them are at that school too.
Yeah, it's a
I even heard like for the TESOL, they go there too.
was hoping to get a
Mm. Is it in the suburb? Is that school?
no, it's close, it's close to Orange.
Oh.
I think it's technically Orange.
Mm.
It's not too far.
Oh, for the clinical, I'm here.
Are you here?
Yeah, at the the daycare. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, bye.